Well, thank you all for tuning in today for our 2022 Townhouse. I'm Giles, this is Nick, and we also have Pedro here. Thanks for joining us. The Townhouse was a concept we started in 2017. We're a British brand at Basel, and we thought actually we should be exhibiting our watches here in the UK. It's originally at London, and here today we're at the Wing in Henley-on-Thames. And this is an opportunity for us to show some great new watches we're launching. And there's so much to show and tell you about. So yeah, what are we starting with, Nick?
So first thing we wanted to show you, which you'd seen on Monday, is the Williams watch. It's the WR22. Williams is a partnership which we're very, very pleased to have. It's a very exciting partnership. It's a very technical partnership. And we've come up with this first bespoke chronograph, and here it is. So here we have the watch. Actually, it's a watch which I'm incredibly proud of with Giles. It's the first watch we've done, as I said, with Williams, where we specifically designed it using the colour palette. It's got quite a sort of vintage retro feel to it as well with the hands. It's got this lovely ceramic tachometer bezel. It's a 43 miller chronograph rather, and you've got this wonderful Williams wheel on the back as well.
Yeah, you can see the wheels behind us. We wanted to simulate that on the rotor. Very pretty. Last year, the team were wearing our World Timer watches, so this is the first actual Williams watch we've done. Taking in those colours, I think the reds and the blues and the whites, they look really good on it, don't they, that dial?
No, I do. I think it has, and it's when you're designing a watch, you want to have a watch which anyone can pick up in 20 years' time and still love the look of. And I think we've achieved it with this. We've got these lovely chronograph hands, which are actually sort of like these sort of almost arrow pointers, aren't they?
It
does have the 70s sort of a Le Mans feel to it almost.
And what about the strap?
So the strap, yeah, this Alcantara strap. So the same material used on a lot of these racing steering wheels, which brings again the racing theme. If you're in the know. And also it's a really lovely strap to wear. It feels really great on the wrist. So it's a watch which I know I'm going to want to wear.
Yeah, no, I think we both need one of those, don't we? So also to celebrate this partnership with Williams, we're coming up with a very limited box set series. We're only making 45 of these box sets. And it's 2 watches, and it comes with a wheel nut that was used on the cars in the last racing season. But it also has this unique experience.
No, it does. And if you're a Formula One fan, you're a Williams fan especially, it is quite special because not only the 2 watches, but also a chance to, on race day, to be watching the Grand Prix live from Grove, where you'll also get a tour of the museum, meet some of the team. I mean, it's a very, very exciting thing if you're into Formula One.
Yeah, it's a real money can't buy experience. And we've got lots going on with Williams this week. We have their car down in reception. We have some more activities going on. You can come and race a Formula One. Yeah, exactly, and come and do that. So now for our next release. And I want to show you a little video first.
Whether you are embracing the silence or battling the storms of time, operating in the shadows can only heighten your senses. What can you do to stay one step ahead? Some say knowledge is the key. To recall those relentless testing moments and how you persevered. Darkness may feel like the enemy. To others, an old friend. From the edge of night to the darkest depths of the ocean, make sure you have something to rely on. The Bremont Supermarine Jet Series. Tested beyond endurance.
So as you can see, we've gone black. We've gone the characteristic jet colour that Bremont's become known for. So we've got three very exciting watches here. The first of which I'm totally in love with. It's the S502 Jet. This watch here, it's again 43mm diving watch, down to 500 meters, DLC coating. It's got that vintage loom. Think of the 501, that vintage loom we've done, that P51 loom from the past, but it's a GMT. It's a very tall watch, isn't it?
I'm loving the ceramic bezel, the matte ceramic. Obviously, helium escape. The orange hand on that 24-hour hand is brilliant. The crown, we've kept a little bit.
The bronze to match the loom, but as Giles said, this matte ceramic bezel looks, it sort of frames it off really nicely.
I think Aldo and Foxy wear it slightly better than probably we would, but it's looking good.
Yeah, the wrists are a bit bigger than mine.
Yeah,
but it is a great looking watch. So do come and have a look at that. And it's got this lovely texture on the dial as well, which is fantastic.
And going with that, the watch that Foxy was wearing in the film is the Supermarine Chrono Jet. So very similar to the original Supermarine Chrono, 43mm.
Which is done really well. I mean, it's gone down brilliant with the bronze hands as well, hasn't it?
Bronze hands, screw-in chronograph pushers, open case back on this. It's very difficult when we first developed this to have a deep diving watch with an open case back, isn't it? Because it's a thick bit of crystal.
It is a big bit of crystal, yeah.
Polished ceramic, unlike the matte on the 502 Jet. So it has a different look and feel about it, doesn't it? They
do, and unlike all of these watches, it's possible to put a number of different straps on it. In here, we're showing them with these rubber integrated straps, but they can use the Temple Island rubber. You could have a leather strap, you could have a NATO strap, but we like them on these particular straps, but they're used for any.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to make good quality rubber straps that actually wear well, and
that silicon rubber mix. It's quite hard to.
Really hard to develop. And once again, second time zone on the Supermarine Chrono, because I think that's probably one of the most useful functions on a watch, isn't it? On a complicated watch.
It is, and what's lovely, you've got this GMT, but you've also got these sort of quite popping indexes as well. So you've got these bronze indexes, which really do elevate the dial.
And they give us some depth.
Yeah, they do. So this is the last of our DLC watches for this year. We wanted to bring out a trio of sort of effectively jet black watches. And this is actually one of my favourite ones. It goes back, there's a bit of a history behind this one, isn't there? It's our first 40mm sort of Airco watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Airco series, named after the first aviation company making for the RAF. And 40mm, really nice size. And we just developed this new case shape on the top when we first created that.
And it's all made here as well, which is very exciting in terms of the case. And what you've got here, we wanted to keep a bit of you've got these lovely nickel hands, and we matched it off with the stainless steel crown. It's also, we've kept the stainless steel back, so that all comes together rounded off nicely with the buckle as well, which is stainless steel. So this is lovely contrast between the black and the steel. You also have this new strap, don't we?
Yes, the green khaki sailcloth, which I think adds a lot to the black. It goes really well. Special leather on the keepers and where the pins come through on the strap, just give it that extra strength.
But again, like all of these watches, you can change the strap depending on, this looks great on a rubber Temple Island. It looks great on a leather strap as well, doesn't it?
You've got to, with all our watches, change the straps around because it makes it feel like you're wearing a whole new watch, doesn't it?
And it's amazing how much straps mean to so many people, which is understandable. You can have a watch, it changes the whole look of it so quickly. So we've put it on this strap, but obviously there's others which fit it. And that's the 3 Jet watches for the year so far. One thing we've really enjoyed over the last few years is this partnership with Her Majesty's Armed Forces and the MOD collection. And a couple of watches which have been very successful and we've loved being involved with is the Argonaut, which is this diving equivalent to the compressor watch we designed for more for the naval side of the armed forces. But on the back, again, we've got the heraldic, 3 heraldic symbols from the Ministry of Defence, but this time the cases are bronze. And we had a lot of fun doing the last bronze ones, didn't we?
Developing bronze is quite complicated because it's not a straight bronze, it's an alloy, isn't it? And how do you create that so it wears correctly over time? And we spent so much time getting it right when we launched it with the Broadsword collection. We felt, and we've had so much great positive feedback on that and how it wears. So building it into the Argonaut collection was a natural progression for us.
There's lots and lots of different types of bronze you can use. And getting that right bronze, as Giles said, which patinas at the right rate, looks good after time is really, really important. So we spent a lot of time getting that right, we feel. So these are the 2 bronze Argonauts we've come out with. There's the black dial and the blue dial, also known as the Sargasso. Again, watches we feel that you can pick up in however many years' time and it'll still look good on your wrist. If I talk about the black one has white indexes and white numerals on the dial, but also we've gone for a slightly off-white dial ring, so it bleeds to the bronze itself. You've got the internal rotating bezel, which can be screwed off and stopped and basically put in place. And you've got the winding crown at 2 o'clock. But then you have the stainless steel case back, obviously, so you don't have any mark left on your wrist, because this case is designed to patina over time. It's designed to wear. And you wear your bronze watch a lot. I wear mine, and they both look totally different.
Totally different. And if you want to shine it up, you can polish it up with some lemon juice, or you wear it over your cuff, and that will polish it. It changes. It's an evolving.
You go on a holiday,
watch.
don't you? And it comes back looking like a completely different watch. But that's what this whole metal's about. It's a sort of a living metal, isn't it?
No, it's really good, and I think with all of our MOD collection, we are very integral, and we should talk about our military business. Probably 20% of our business is just making for military around the world, and as a business, we're incredibly proud of that. And we have our clocks on the aircraft carrier, the Queen Elizabeth, and so it's a really strong connection. We have that with them, and I think the Argonaut collection, dedicated towards the Royal Navy, it is that good all-round watch you could wear, in the boardroom or out at sea. And I think that detail is very important for us. Our watches, we want them to be worn. The blue here, which I've got, we obviously launched a blue dial face, the Azure, in last year in the stainless steel Argonaut. And we have this canvas blue sailcloth strap once again, which is lovely to wear.
It is. You've got the leather keepers. You've got the leather pinhole. You can see here, but we've also got the bronze. We've coloured the steel bronze just again, so you don't leave a mark on your wrist. It's great having a bronze watch, but you don't particularly want to end up with a green mark on your wrist. So we've done it for that reason. But it is a very tool watch again, and I think it ticks all the boxes of what we're trying to achieve. So hopefully you'll love it as much as we do.
Now for our next watch. Working with the Ministry of Defence and the RAF Benevolent Fund, we're commemorating the 80th anniversary, which is happening next year, of the original Dam Busters raid. I want to show you a little video.
So obviously this is a very emotive subject, and it's something which is very dear to ours, but so many other people's hearts around the world. But it was such an incredible moment in innovation as well. So this watch here we've designed and built to commemorate this time in aviation history. Is a 42mm chronograph, monopusher chronograph. Again, with that sort of slightly vintage look to it. It's using that 51 loom again, which we love so much. But it's also got this rather special case back, commemorating not only 617 Squadron, which was the original Dam Buster Squadron. You've got the Lancaster below, with the incredible innovation that went into the bouncing bomb by Barnes-Wallis beneath that. But also around the outside, you've got the names of the 8 aircraft, like Zebra, like Apple, like Sugar, which never came back. So it very much is a commemorative piece, as Giles said. But it's also celebrating this incredible moment in history where these incredibly brave men, airmen, air crew, went off and really helped change the course of the Second World War.
Yeah, I think for us as a business and working with the Ministry of Defence as we do, to not commemorate this 80th anniversary and celebrate those individuals and what they did, I think we really had to do it. And we're only making 232 of these watches. Tell us why, Nick.
We are indeed. I mean, that was the speed that these aircraft had to fly over the dams at 60 feet to make sure that these bouncing bombs designed by obviously Barnes-Wallis hit their targets and did what they needed to do. So we thought 232, it's a lovely number to commemorate. It's the right sort of numbers of watches we want to produce. But also,
it's coming with, tell us about the cufflinks.
Yeah, no, so what's quite exciting, what's a lovely addition to this watch, because it is such a special thing to be commemorating, as Giles said, we have some sterling silver Lancaster cufflinks coming with the watch. But these silver cufflinks also contain some original material from Lancaster itself. So it's all been melted down, put together, and they'll look beautiful alongside the watch when you're at that black tie or that work event, won't they? So
yeah, and the case, we say, is designed off the Arrow series, our RAF watch with the mono pusher. It's a lovely case, and I think with the detail on that case back, that classic dial, it's a really lovely watch. And
I think, and you mentioned it already, Giles, but to do a watch like this, in associating with Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the MOD, but also with the RAF Benevolent Fund, it sort of, for us, it ticked every box, didn't it?
Yeah, no, very much so. So we're at our final release of our 2022 Townhouse, and they say last but not least, and this is a new Supermarine diving watch to our collection. We called our original diving watches Supermarine because we modelled them off the S6B Supermarine aircraft, this amphibious aircraft that we think is probably one of the most iconic aircrafts out there that we just sort of fell in love with. Our first limited edition we came out in the diving collection was called the Descent. And now we want to introduce the Supermarine Descent 2. Tell us about the watch, Nick.
Yeah, so it's the first Descent was black. It was limited to, I think, 407 different pieces. This isn't black, obviously. What's special about this watch is we loved the limited we did for NIMS and its Project Possible. It was an incredible piece of mountaineering history, which I think we all agree is probably not going to be broken, this record, for a number of years. But that watch had this beautiful bronze bezel. We've kept that. We think it looks wonderful. But this time we've got the bronze with the stainless steel and the applied indexes, which match the case design. It's a 500-meter diving watch, but it does have an open case back. So you can imagine, obviously, the thickness of this case crystal at the back, but we've kept the same, managed to fit it in to the same thickness case thickness we've always had with the Supermarines. And you've got this lovely, it's a GMT, so you've got this lovely GMT hand, which has got this lovely, almost, I call it RF blue, but it's not quite, but it's...
Harbour Blue.
It is Harbour Blue.
And this is the new
name.
strap, the new rubber Harbour Blue strap that we've got with this. And I think it does make it jump out, doesn't it? It
does, and you've also got the the original iconic sort of helium release valve, which was the first Supermarine. You got the crown protection, and it's this 43mm case, incredibly robust watch, and it has a lot of the technology also found inside the Martin Baker in terms of the movement mount support. And
yes, and I think probably for people who don't know that much about our watches or tuning in, this is all of our watches we've presented today, apart from the Ministry of Defence collection watches, and which the Dan Bus is part of it, have this three-piece case. Explain that, Nick. Why the three-piece?
Yeah, it's very, very unique to Bremont, and I think you if you're a Bremont fan, you wear a Bremont, and you see someone else, where it might be on the bus, the tube, or at your golf club, wherever, and you see this three-piece case, you kind of know it's a Bremont. And when Giles and I designed these watches, it was, it's quite hard to make a case look different from, many of the other watch brands out there. So back in 20 odd years ago, we came with this idea of having this, the top lugs almost melting over the centre section of the case, which is then supported by the case back. And this is why we nicknamed it, a bit of a pun, but the whole triptych case, and it sort of stuck, didn't it?
Yeah, and it not only did it give that lovely lug shape, it meant that top bezel we could take off and harden separately. So we found this technology where we're taking it from around 350 Vickers in hardness to about 2,000 Vickers. It puts a 3-micron layer of very hardened carbon over the case. So it enables us to do stuff like that. But ultimately, functionality, but also design. And it became quite an iconic a Bremont piece of our DNA.
Yes, and the watch also has this sapphire bezel. Sapphire's a really lovely material to work with. One, it's incredibly scratch resistant. It's I think it's 9 on the Mohn scale, isn't it? And diamond's 10, so it's very, very scratch resistant. But also you can print beneath it. So on this bezel, especially in low light or in the nighttime, you'll see it all lights up with the Superluminova. So all in all, it's very much a tool watch, but it's incredibly beautifully engineered tool watch, and it's something where we keep adding to each year, but we're very proud of it, aren't we?
Oh yeah, very much so. But I would like to sort of invite you all at some point to come and visit the wing. Where we're sitting, we have full machining of case and movement components, full assembly for movements and our watches all under one roof. And this journey for us started over 20 years ago, and we set out on this mission statement to bring British watchmaking back to the UK. Britain has such an amazing history in watchmaking, going back over 150 years, we're making half the world's watches. So many movement designs and developments have come from British watchmakers. The world sets its time by Greenwich Mean Time. And we set out on this mission all those years ago to bring that back and bring that skill set not only to Bremont but to the UK. And it's been an amazing journey, hasn't it?
No, it has. And I think you talk to anyone here at Bremont, hopefully they'd show the same passion we do about bringing watchmaking on an industrial level. When I say industrial, I don't mean chimneys but sort of repeatable, beautifully engineered chronometers in numbers. And that skill set, for that skill set now and that intellectual property to be in this country is very, very exciting. And also our journey began with a love of engineering, which is what we are here. You know, we are precision engineers, really, when you come down to it, combined with watchmaking. And our father was very much one of those. You know, he was an aeronautical engineer. We grew up in the workshop with him, spending a lot of time making things, and you know, whether it be airplanes we still fly, restoring cars, motorbikes. But I think one of his passions are obviously clocks, and that's where a lot of the Bremont heritage comes from. And hopefully, when you come around here, you not only will you see the aviation DNA, but you'll see the engineering DNA here as well, won't you? It's
yeah, and look, ultimately, we're an engineering company, aren't we? I mean, that's our daily.
It's one of our pillars,
concerns.
isn't it? We talk about our pillars.
It's the pillar. Unless you're making beautifully made watches, there was never going to be a growth, and we wanted to build these ourselves. We didn't want to outsource everything, and we wanted that skill set under one roof, and that's why we're so proud to show off the wing for any guests, visitors who want to come and see this. And I always say, 86,400 seconds a day, and these watches chronometer rated. They're you know, we're probably when they leave here, they're going at about 3 or 4 seconds fast. That's the way we set them, but that watch will work in hundreds of years' time, and that quality and build is so important. That's why mechanical watchmaking is such a special art. And I think when you see it being made, when you see those watches being produced, you really appreciate what goes into it. And so yeah, please come and visit. We'd love to show you around.
Yeah, and you know what. You know, it's been a very, very busy year for us. It's been a very busy 20 years. But if you look at what we've achieved in the last year, if you come here to Townhouse, not only will you be able to see cases being manufactured to within incredibly small tolerances, we're talking 3 or 4 microns, but also movement. So a watch which was incredibly emotive for us, and something which we've spent a huge amount of time producing, and we released just a couple of months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, was the Longitude. And the Longitude is the first watch that we've made, and actually the first watch in this country that's been made for probably 50 years, that has been the movement, Bremont manufactured movement, a movement made in scale, a movement where probably 50-60% of it is made here in this building, to incredibly small tolerances. And it is an incredibly beautiful movement, isn't it? It's a chronometer rated movement.
But it's also a very good movement, and 65-hour power reserve, citadel escapement. I mean, it's beautifully constructed and designed, and that was a big part of our mission.
Definitive moment, wasn't it?
And that's what we've been working on. So please come and visit, and thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us waffle on about our watches, but really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.